Another breakout? Today? Really? Oh, it's not that bad, they say. I can barely see it. But yeah, right. Get real. It's time for this to end. Thanks to my new Biore Charcoal Acne Scrub with natural charcoal, I can fight even the most annoying breakouts. How? It scrubs out acne causing dirt and oil for clearer skin in 2 days. So peace out, pesky pimples. With Biore, I've finally found the skin of my dreams.
Biore. Free your pores.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no short, just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S. Everybody say go, New York, go, New York, go!
Everybody, it's the New York Knicks podcast, episode 324. I am Jay. With me, as always, is Marc. And today we have a special guest, Will. How you doing, Will?
Brooklyn. I'm not going to start already, guys. I'm sorry. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Will's our resident New Jersey/Brooklyn Nets fan. And he's on the show this week because we need to have some fun so we can rip on the Nets instead of talking about the Knicks.
Well, let's be real. On the forums, on Facebook, and on the website and everything where I've commented, I've mostly ignored the Nets and just tried to be a purveyor of truths about the Knicks and hopefully not. I don't think I've bashed them a lot on the comment section. I think I've mostly praised them, and but yeah, the Nets. Yeah, I mean, are we really going to start with the Nets now? I think
No. Not after the last two games of the Knicks.
They're beating the Thunder right now.
So the Knicks, they're beating the Thunder.
Yeah, they're beating the Thunder.
Well, I'm excited for that parade tomorrow in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So the Knicks, since last show, they beat the Jazz, and there were games against Charlotte and the Clippers where those games were on too late last night, and we don't have the scores. So we don't know what happened. So we're going to assume the Knicks won. We're just going to concentrate solely on what's going on with you, Will.
What's going on with me?
Yeah.
Are you moving a piano?
Okay, yeah. Well, that now sounds like a snowblower outside, so that's great timing. Sorry about that. Yeah, that is definitely someone around here. Who fucking operates I'm sorry for the cursing. Who operates a snowblower at 8:45 p.m. East Coast?
I mean, who does that? Who operates a snowblower in the snow?
Yeah, but it stopped snowing about 19
ago.
hours ago. That's a little late for the snowblower. He just passed out for 24 hours. He's like, holy crap, it snowed out.
Gotta get to work. Okay, so anyhow, the Knicks played I was going to make a joke about them. Anyhow, because we had a lot of snow in New York, or basically there's a lot of snow on the East Coast, and because of that, the Knicks were they lost to the Clippers, and they were unable to make the second half of the Charlotte game.
Snowed in the locker room.
Yeah.
Half the team was trapped.
There's too much snow. We're not going to bring out our offense or defense for the second half. Should we start with the good piece of news, the Jazz game?
Yeah, might as well.
So, Will, what do you think of the Jazz game?
That was one of the best NBA games I've seen this year. At least the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter and the first 5 minutes to overtime were. That was just a really good, fun game to watch. I was really impressed. I haven't been the biggest fan of Derek Williams, even when he's performed well this season, but I was really impressed with him that game, obviously. I think even the biggest non-Derek Williams fans can not be helped but be appreciative of his efforts in that game and really enjoy what he did in that game. I thought he was excellent in that game, to be honest, and
I feel like everyone's kind of come around on stupid hair. I feel like when we signed him in the offseason, everyone said, why are we wasting our money? This was probably the dumbest signing that Phil did all summer. No one seemed to really like this signing. And then earlier this week, I asked everyone, the top three guys off the bench, rank them. And everyone put stupid hair first. Without question. Everyone's like, this guy has been such a good surprise for this team.
Well, that kind of just also proves how stupid the fans of this podcast are, because Lance Thomas is still the best player off the bench.
Well, we try to appeal to an audience that does not have a high IQ, so we always feel a little superior about ourselves.
I feel like the name of the podcast pervade that.
Well, Knicks fans are also really up and down, and Lance Thomas had a rough 2 weeks. So, like, if we ask this question again next month, Thomas might be at the top of the list.
Either way, I mean, the bigger point is that people are appreciating Derek Williams, and they're appreciating what he's doing. Even if you say, like, a lot of people had Lance Thomas number 2 on that list, but even if you say Lance Thomas is 1, everyone's still saying, like, Derek Williams is, I mean, of the signings of the offseason, to compare him to O'Quinn and Seraphin, O'Quinn and Seraphin now are looking like the bad signings, and everyone's pretty excited about Derek Williams. He'll be back next year.
Yeah, the fact that most people picked Lance Thomas second is also kind of a revelation from the beginning of the season, where everyone thought he was, including me, a complete bust.
I mean, I'm pretty sure most of us would have said Derek Williams, Lance Thomas. Let's see. I'm sure they'll compete for a guy who will play no minutes and never get off the bench all season.
Yeah, exactly. So the rest of the game, I think, was trends we've seen the rest of the season. Carmelo got over 6 assists, so we won. He had 9.
This was the Porzingis fake 3-pointer, so he just tackled the guy, and that's why we went to overtime.
He fouls Gordon Hayward on the last.
I mean, Hayward was you knew Hayward was trying to draw the foul, and like he just like can't help myself. Oh, and you're like, rookie.
That's just it's just one of those rookie mistakes. It's just one of those things you have to take. You have to take the bad with the good sometimes, and with Porzingis, you'll take moments like those because he's given you so many great moments already this season, and he's given you so much promise. So it's unfortunate it came in that spot, obviously, but it's just one of those things that you just kind of have to accept from a 20-year-old. It's just, and you see it. If it's Jerian Grant doing that, you're going to be a little bit more pissed off because Jerian Grant isn't giving you as many great hopeful moments, but
he's given us one
Porzingis
good moment the entire season, basically. Grant. He had one good game this whole season, I think.
It's the Clippers game, because he was pretty good in the Clippers game.
Was he good at the Clippers game?
The moments I saw of that awful Clippers game, he was kind of slicing through the Clippers defense. So maybe it was only like the 3 plays I saw him actually slice through the Clippers defense, and maybe it was horrible the rest of the game.
No, he was pretty good in the Clippers game. He had 8 assists. Hit a bunch of
I guess he wasn't that bad in that game. Yeah, would you say Clippers? You say overall, has he been a disappointment? Met expectations? He definitely hasn't exceeded expectations, Grant.
I think for me, he's met expectations. I think leading up to the draft, I really liked his game, but I didn't know if he could play NBA basketball right away. I thought he was a project, to be honest, and I'm really happy for him that he's been able to stay in the rotation, but to be honest, like, he's a fringe NBA guard at this moment, and he still needs to do a lot of work. He obviously needs to work on his outside shot. He obviously has to work on his court awareness, and he has to work on his ability to control his guys on the floor.
Have you been watching your Nets this season?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not even looking to rip on them. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on: is Grant an upgrade over Shane Larkin? Because he's basically replaced Shane Larkin on the roster. Is he an upgrade? Does he have a better chance of actually being a decent NBA player than Larkin?
I think he will be a better player than Shane Larkin. He's more athletic. He's more physically gifted. You could just see it in his body. Shane Larkin's really small for the NBA, and he doesn't have the athleticism or any outstanding skills to overcome that, really. Shane Larkin's an average NBA guard, and if he were 2 inches taller, he'd be a good backup point guard. But fortunately for him, he's not as athletic as Jerian Grant. Jerian Grant is a legit 6'4" point guard, and there's little doubt in my mind he'll definitely be better than Shane Larkin.
What do we think? What's realistic for Grant going forward, and what's his ceiling?
It's a good question. I honestly believe, given his physical tools, his ceiling is like Indiana Pacers Lance Stevenson.
You mean like just about to become a giant head case?
hope like just on the fringes of becoming the head case. But no, like a guy who will do a little bit of everything for you on the court, who will be that energy coming off the bench, and who can do a little bit of everything. He can defend, he can shoot. Hopefully, he'll learn how to shoot. He's still just 21 years old.
Ever
coming out of
a
college,
legit NBA starter?
Yeah, it's hard. I think the only way he becomes ever a legit NBA starter is if he improves his shot.
Yeah.
Because it's his catch and shoot. Every time I see him take a catch and shoot, his rhythm's good, and his form is good. But shooting off the dribble, he just seems awkward and unbalanced. And I think he needs time to work on that. And this is a guy at Notre Dame who's like very much pass first. And I think given his natural inclination to want to be that guy, I think he could definitely be a starting NBA point guard. But he needs the right two guard next to him for him to be really successful.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of guys that come in the league that aren't. I mean, there are a lot of guys that aren't good shooters and remain bad shooters, but there are a lot of guys that actually get better. So,
yeah, but there aren't a lot of guys who come in bad shooters off the dribble and get better at shooting off the dribble. He's got to be a guy who's got to develop his catch and shoot game, because that's an even more rare feat. Is guys who come into the NBA and improve their shooting off the dribble game. Like, not a lot of guys do it. I think they're rare examples. Like, it's Chris Paul who's done it, who's just like a deadly shooter off the dribble, you know. And it's most guys just don't develop.
I remember
further.
Steph Curry couldn't even do it when he came to the NBA, and now he's good at it. Yeah, you're probably right. Most guys, that's more of a natural. Either you have that kind of skill, or you don't have that kind of skill, I guess. But it would be nice if he gets better. I do like, because the question I was wondering is like, is this a guy who can look to as like really build? Like, is this our point guard? We need a point guard basically, or next season we really still need a starting point guard.
I don't think you can go forward assuming Jerian Grant is going to be your starting point guard of the future. I think if you have an opportunity to upgrade that position at free agency, you go for it. Like, if you can, I don't want to say Mike Conley, because I actually think signing Mike Conley is a bad idea. And I like Mike Conley, but signing Mike Conley is a bad idea.
Why is signing Mike Conley a bad idea?
Just because he'll be on
Mr. Naysayer. That's our best point guard. We get him, we win the title. It's guaranteed.
Just because he'll be on the wrong side of 30 when that contract starts, and he's very injury prone. Yeah, Carmelo right now is on the right side of 30, I think.
Do you think basically he's going to get worse, and so we might have 1 or 2 good years out of him, but it's going to be a bad contract?
I really like Mike Conley. I think he's more of a product of having Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph all his career, and I think you take him out of that, I don't know what he is. I think the same can be said for a lot of point guards who sign elsewhere. I think the same can be said for Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday was running the Collins system. He was a dynamo, and now ever since he's left that system, like, he's been barely starting point guard worthy. It's a tough sell, like, with these guys who improve over time in the same systems and in the same team culture. Those guys, when you take them out of that culture, you never know if you're going to get the same guy. That's just my point with Mike Conley, and I think with Mike Conley, that's going to be the point. Like, he's not going to be the same guy he was in Memphis on this Knicks team.
Maybe the answer for the Knicks, instead of signing Mike Conley, is if there are systems that make point guards better, why don't we get a coach that has that system? Maybe we can get a coach that can improve the offense. I don't know. So Cleveland fired their coach this week. And I guess that's what happens to you when you go to the finals and have the best record in the East the following season. You get fired. Pretty much, you can see that coming.
Do you believe for a second that LeBron said he didn't know and he had nothing to do with that?
Not even a... I'm pretty sure the meeting with the owners went something like this. LeBron saying, yeah, I don't love him. And the owner saying, okay, we'll have him killed. No, I don't want him killed. We'll kill his dog. No, I don't want to kill his dog. Just get rid of him. The body, get rid of the body. No. Like don't actually kill him. Fine this time. Ron, we won't kill him this time. There was probably a good chance if LeBron wanted murder, they would have murdered him. They would have murdered him at center court at halftime in next week's game if they.
Yeah, I find it so silly that he says he had no idea. It's like, come on.
It's unbelievable. They even just say LeBron James found out about it afterwards.
Right. Like they don't run everything. They're about to sub in Dellavedova, and they ask LeBron if that's okay.
Yeah, it's like you might well just said LeBron's hands brushed his hair. LeBron James himself found out about that afterwards. It's like, Will, what's going on in your household?
I think he's getting beers.
Are you making food, Will?
No, my dog's eating his food, and he's being an asshole because he's. I hate everything. This is why this is why I gave up on trying to come on your guys' show. Like I ruin things. I get really emotional and I get depressed afterward. I'm like, oh, I ruined my favorite podcast. No, everyone hates me. All the fans hate me. All 12 of these nerds really hate me. This sucks.
Up to 12? Sorry. Well, it's cool. We can talk about the Knicks and people can hear what it's like for a dog to eat dinner.
So the last thing about the Utah game, we had another Knick effect.
Do you think it's kind of ridiculous that they fired him?
David Blatt?
Yeah. Sorry, Jay. We'll get back to the game in a second.
No, I don't think it's ridiculous.
Why not? I think it's pretty ridiculous.
If the Knicks did something like that, what's
Knicks the
fans
point
are like,
of keeping him? Like they were not going to win the title this year, and he was just going to get fired after they lose to Golden State or San Antonio again. Might as well give the guy a head start, give him a little vacation before he tries to find his next NBA head coaching gig. They just did the best thing for him. They did him such a huge favor.
Do you think he'll have a job next season?
Maybe not next season, but the season after next, like he's going to get looks. Like he may just want to collect his money next season.
Do you think
he's definitely going to get another head coaching job?
There's
no doubt in my mind.
Does he have to be an assistant coach before getting a head coaching gig, or is he going right back to head coaching?
I think he's going right back to head coaching.
I think he should go.
There's not enough good head coach. There's not enough good head coaches for him to not be a head coach again. I'm saying this despite the fact that Vinny Del Negro, Mark Jackson, and a bunch of other 50-win coaches don't have jobs, and Lionel Hollins just got fired for coaching the third least talented team in the NBA.
Yeah. By the way, why did the Nets do that? I mean, here's a shitty roster with no future, and you can't win the title with them.
They're the worst organization in the NBA right now.
It's like, we bought out our starting point guard, and our backup point guard went down for the whole season. So now all we have is a third-string point guard. Go.
We built around a center that can't play defense and no draft picks. Go.
My blood is boiling.
I feel like with the Cavs, I understand why they did it. And listen, you have LeBron. At some point, you have to say I don't want to say a player should be able to fire a coach, but in certain situations, a player gets to fire a coach. You're building around LeBron. He thinks it makes more sense. Everyone else is going to buy into that. You got to do it. But then you look at the Knicks' history. Even after our 54-win season, we all kind of wanted to fire Mike Woodson, and people were like, you can't do that. You can't fire him after a 54-win season. Now we want to fire Derek Fisher. People are like, you can't fire Derek Fisher. You haven't given him a chance yet. And Cleveland's like, oh, best record in the East. You're fired. I don't know why we can't do this stuff in New York.
I think that he should take a year off, and then he should coach the Knicks.
Would you have Blatt as their coach in New York?
Absolutely.
Really?
Why?
I mean, what's he done besides go to the finals and win and have the best record in the East? I still am holding out for Thibodeau. Do you want Thibodeau for the Nets?
Do I want Thibodeau for the Nets? No.
You don't like playing defense?
I don't like my players having to play with spinal injuries. How about that? Like, Thibodeau's a maniac.
Who played with a spinal injury?
Lil Deng, remember he had a spinal tap in the first round of a playoff series and then, played, 3 days later. He had a botched spinal tap, by the way.
Oh.
I think it was the Bulls versus, it wasn't. There was some series in the playoffs, and he played 3 days after having a botched spinal tap. because Thibodeau's crazy and he doesn't care about human life.
Okay, Thibodeau, we're going to give you the job. We just have to answer.
But yeah, he'd be great for the Knicks.
Just answer this one question for us, Tibbs. Do you value human life? No. Okay, we're not going to hire you. We'll see you later.
Sure, Melo would love to have Thibodeau as his coach.
Do you think guys think
he wants accountability? Thibodeau's his guy.
Do you think Melo? We talk about the wrong side of 30. You made a comment earlier that Melo's not necessarily on the wrong side of 30. How many years left does he have on his contract, Jay?
3.
So
after this one,
we've all hated the contract in the sense of by the time Melo hits like 35, his contract's going to 34. His contract's going to look kind of poorly, kind of bad, right? Do you think in the next 3 years, do you think he's actually going to play up to that? Like, is he going to look pretty decent the rest of the way?
Wait, hold on. People say that, and I don't get what they mean when they say that. I don't think people account for the fact that like NBA players are getting better and better with age as science develops and as they become more aware of what they have to do to take care of their body. I don't see why Carmelo can't be as good at 35 as Paul Pierce was at 35. And Paul Pierce at 35 was still an all-star.
When you say science is getting better, do you mean steroids?
No comment.
Fine. The dog disagrees. Could we get the dog on the show, Will? Could you give him a mic?
Yeah, he actually does a really good Mike Woodson impression.
We were supposed to have Mike Woodson on this week. We haven't commented on that. Mike Woodson will be on next week. We screwed up, but he will be on soon. And we're going to give Will all the Mike Woodson questions, and I'm sure that'll make sense for everyone. Jay, what do you think? Do you think Melo is going to get better, worse, or stay at least as good with age? Like, is it going to be like a fine wine?
I don't think so. He's already injury prone. I can't see that getting better.
Outside of the injuries, though, I mean, do you think maybe as he gets older, he'll play smarter basketball?
I think his game will stay fairly consistent. I just think he's going to miss more and more games.
I mean, that's probably the case. I mean, he's passing the ball a lot more lately and playing a little better defense.
That's great. Yeah, I hope that keeps up.
You sound skeptical, Jay.
Why? Because we have a 2-month sample size versus 12 years?
Yes. So 2 months is greater than 12 years. Basic math, Jay. Okay, going back to the Jazz game. Nick Effect,
Rodney Hood. It's always a guard. Rodney Hood had 29 points.
Is Rodney Hood one of the best players in the NBA? He looked so goddamn good. And his stats, when you look at his stats don't look... Why was he so damn good? The Knicks could not stop him at all.
Well, we have a backcourt that is not good at stopping people.
Do we have to give Phil a little bit of crap? I mean, we coming into the season, we were saying the guards look terrible. Or not terrible, but like mediocre at best. We have to give Phil a little crap here for not. I mean, his overall off season, he did a great job in some respect, but in some respect, he also just didn't give a crap about the guards.
Yeah, no, I find it ridiculous that everyone knew that we were thin in the backcourt, and then he signed Serafin as his last move.
Yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense.
Serafin is, I mean, let's be honest, he's completely redundant on this team. I mean,
wait. I'm going to look up the word redundant. It's weird here. On dictionary.com, redundant does not equal useless. Is that what you meant? You meant to say useless, right?
Because, I mean, does he do anything that O'Quinn and even Amundsen doesn't do?
He misses more shots and turns the ball over more.
That's true.
But, yeah, it does seem like Amundsen could have even been our backup center.
Yeah.
Also, at least when it comes to Serafin, like, they didn't do stupid things like what the Nets did and give a bunch of their low totem pole guys like player options. Like at least Serafin, after this year he's either gonna come back for the minimum salary or he's gonna go somewhere else.
Who's got a player option on the Nets? Tell me Bargs doesn't have
every single yes. Bargs
has a player option?
Yes. Bargs has a player option, Shane Larkin has a player option, Willie Reed has a player option, a bunch of Nets players have a player option.
Did the Nets did their lawyers misunderstood what that meant? Like, they thought player option meant they had the option to keep them as a player?
I think Prokhorov thought like he had the option to kill them if they didn't succeed. I think that's what Prokhorov thought.
Does Prokhorov just does not know how to read English, and that's the problem? He looks at the contracts, he doesn't want to like look up and say, "I don't know how to read this," so he just signs it. I don't know how to read this, but you know what? If it doesn't work out, we'll have him killed. It's fine. It's right. This is Russia, right? The games are in New York. Oh, well, we can have him killed in New York, right? Really? So Barker's coming back next year.
Yeah, if he doesn't want to move, I guess. Yeah, he'll be back, and then that's. I'm getting really depressed again.
Are you playing a game in the back? What are you doing? Do you hear I heard groaning in the background?
I hear zombies. Yeah.
What are you watching?
I'm not playing a game. Well, there's a lot going on, guys. I'm really sorry. Okay, I got my dog. He's eating food. I'm watching the Royal Rumble right now. I'm watching a pretty awesome match with Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio. Also, my roommate just came home, and he just went into his room with his friend, and they're in their room right now. So there's a lot going on. I apologize. I'm just going to mute my microphone until I want to talk.
Wait, Will, tell us what's going on in the Royal Rumble. Who's the big wrestlers now?
Well, we got Roman Reigns as our current WWE champion. He is defending his title in the Royal Rumble for the first time ever.
Wait, you could lose your title in the Royal Rumble? The whole elimination tournament thing?
Yep, the WWE Championship. If no one knows what the Royal Rumble is, a 30-man over the top rope gauntlet rumble. It's just people coming into the rings at every 2-minute intervals up until the last man standing. And we got Roman Reigns, we got Brock Lesnar, we got Chris Jericho, we got possibly The Undertaker, possibly Triple H.
I find it weird that almost everybody just goes by their name now. Back in the day, everyone had a nickname.
Yeah, The Undertaker's the only one with a nickname.
But that's because he was from back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's only two guys now. It's the only two guys. The only three guys are the guys that debuted in 1995. It's Triple H, Undertaker, and Kane. No one has... I mean, there's some guys. There's literally one guy whose name is just Big E. There's another guy who I'm watching. Yes. There's another guy,
if the NBA went the reverse in this, and Knicks are subbing in Atomic Warrior.
That would be pretty awesome, actually.
That would be bad.
Is that Kevin O'Quinn's nickname? Or Kyle O'Quinn? I just call him Kevin O'Quinn.
It doesn't really matter.
Who cares? He's irrelevant.
Okay, so...
Well, let me ask you guys something because we were talking about Kevin Seraphin and the Knicks signing him. Would you guys rather have Alexei Shved? Because those are pretty much the options, weren't there? The Knicks pretty much bought in Kevin Seraphin because they didn't want to give Alexei Shved the taxpayers mid-level or whatever that exception was.
Right.
Yeah, well, first of all, I feel there are more than two options out there because it's not a binary world with the only possible two options. There had to be other guards they could have gone after. But, yeah, I would have easily taken Shved over Seraphin.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, just for the sake of we didn't need another center or / power forward, and we did desperately need other guards. I mean, we brought in goddamn Sasha Vuya, who cares about how he pronounced his last name, and he's legitimately an option off the bench because of
But he's the machine. He's the machine.
He's the machine doused in water that no longer works.
I love Sasha Vujacic. I'll always love Sasha Vujacic. I'll take him on the Nets right now. I would trade you Shane Larkin for Sasha Vujacic right now.
I will trade it. I will give him to you for a Brooklyn hacky sack. I do not.
You got to take a Froyo as well.
Sure. Whatever cool stuff's going on in Brooklyn these days.
$10 artisan chocolates.
We'll give you him for a cronut.
Okay, so let's move on from Utah.
No, let's spend the rest of the game. Let's pretend the next games did not happen. Let's just concentrate on the Utah game. So anyway, the Knicks went to overtime. It was their second overtime game in a row. They won the game. You know what? Also, this was the game we didn't even mention. Robin Lopez was like a machine. If we're talking about machines, he was awesome from down low. His offense has really been developing lately.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his stats for the next two games.
They don't look quite as good?
Not really.
Well, you have to admit his offense is looking a ton better than it looked previously.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's actually looking for a shot, which is nice.
I feel like in the Charlotte game, for a little while, there were a couple shots in a row where Lopez hit, and the Knicks just And I was like, oh, Lopez is playing great. He's eating up. What's his name? Who's covering him? Hawes. Spencer Hawes was covering him. Lopez was eating him alive, and then they just didn't pass the ball to Lopez again for like another 30 minutes. And then he was off the rest of the game when they passed him the ball.
Yeah, they're good like that.
It made no sense. A couple plays in a row, they went to Lopez. He hit like hook after hook. I think it was three straight hooks he had hit. And you're like, oh, great, this is really working. Why don't you make Charlotte stop this play instead of just stop using it?
Because that would make sense.
The Knicks would have had Shaq, and people were like, why don't you just pass the ball into Shaq? He's unstoppable inside. Yeah, but we want to do other things. We want to make Shaq learn the triangle. Okay, so anyway, I just want to point out Lopez started playing like a beast in that game, had a fantastic game, and I was pretty excited about him going forward. Okay, let's do the Clipper disaster.
Clipper disaster. So that game started with Paul Pierce getting 8 points in about 35 seconds. And
why do the Knicks start every game off by giving their opponents a 10-point lead?
It's like, all right, guys, for the next 4 minutes, we're not going to guard the three-point line. Do what you can.
The Knicks not to jump ahead, but the goddamn Charlotte game, Charlotte started out 2 for 18, and the Knicks weren't winning after the first. After the Knicks barely had a lead, and then by halftime they were down. You missed 16 of your first 18 shots. You should be wrecking them.
Yep.
Did you guys actually watch the Charlotte game? I'm impressed with you guys. I was doing much better things like being stuck inside while it was snowing and watching Mr. Robot and Skyping with my girlfriend. I feel like I chose wisely.
You did. Oh. I watched some of the game. Once the Knicks went down by 18, I just turned it off in disgust.
I mean, there's a lot of things you could do that say you spent your time wisely besides watching the Knicks game. You could have been like, I was learning origami off of YouTube videos. That would have been a more useful way to spend your time than watching the Knicks games.
Hold on. For those listening on the podcast, either tomorrow morning or anytime in the future, Mark, are you drinking out of your child's baby bottle? Like what?
Yes. I drink out of a child's baby bottle. That is exactly what I'm doing. You got it right. Let's move on. Anyway, going back to the game, they could not stop DeAndre Jordan.
Well, he only shot 100%.
He shot 100%. You can't shoot. That's a game where you're like, why don't you give Jordan more dunks?
And then they trolled us by having their bench unit consist of Aldridge, Prigioni, and Crawford, who also destroyed us.
Yes.
Yeah, Crawford couldn't miss. That was lovely.
Do you miss Priggs?
I miss Priggs.
I miss Priggs.
Priggs would be a useful member of this team.
Priggs had something crazy like 8 steals in 15 minutes or something the other day.
8 steals?
I mean, not against the Knicks. He had 4 steals against the Knicks in 19 minutes.
I kind of missed. Priggs was a solid backup. Again, not a starter, but
Prigioni, the X Factor.
Yeah. Kind of miss Priggs.
Yeah, he had 8 steals in 15 minutes against Miami.
I don't miss Aldridge, but Priggs I miss. By the way, can we have Lance Stevenson? I would take him. Would you take him right now? If the Clippers just give him to you?
Yeah, why not? He could have Vujicic's minutes or Vucevic's or whatever the hell he is.
I don't understand how his career fell off so drastically. I understand he's a problem child, but he was pretty good for Indiana.
I've heard things, and I'm not going to sully the journalistic responsibilities of this podcast by even mentioning what's actually going on with him, or perhaps going on with him.
Okay, just make stuff up then, okay?
I don't want to make stuff up.
Why would you say I know stuff about him, but I'm not going to tell you?
Because it's not. I don't know if it's true. I have unreliable sources.
So start your sentence with allegedly, and then tell us.
Allegedly.
I've heard from sources. Sources have told me.
Allegedly,
Lance Stevenson.
At the end of his Pacers run, was caught in a lot of infidelities with others.
Will, could you make the TV louder?
No,
It's not the TV, it's the roommates.
That's his roommate.
Okay. I thought. Oh, are your roommates actually participating in the Royal Rumble?
Yes, they're in the room. The TV is muted, guys. I'm not that irresponsible.
I thought you had the TV. I thought for some reason you needed WWE commentary while you're watching the Royal Rumble.
We only get guest hosts with loud environments in the background. That's the qualification. When people email us about being on the show, we say, well, is your background situation really loud?
Okay, it's not my fault that your living situations aren't as poppin' as my living situations, okay?
If you could do the show from an airport, right on the runway, we'd be really excited.
Yes, the actual runway.
No, I do not have a popping a living situation, I guess.
There actually was I was actually going to message you guys like a few weeks ago. I went to a Nets game, unfortunately, on a Sunday night while you guys were recording, and I was like, how funny would it be if I just Skyped in from this Nets game that they're losing by 40 points?
We would just hear their music and not the crowd, because that's the way it is in Nets games.
Pretty much.
Okay, do we want to talk any more about the Clippers game?
Is there any positive things to talk about?
No,
like,
Carmelo got hurt and had to leave early. Porzingis shot like crap.
Literally, the only positive thing was Jaren Grant.
Yeah.
Is 8 for 29 a good shooting percentage?
I think it's less than 30, so I'm gonna say no.
So Porzingis and a Melo didn't contribute positively to the offense. It is insane, actually. The starting five, how bad they shot. 14 for 60. 14 for 60.
Oh, wait. The other thing is, Porzingis' issue has been foul trouble. So they had him intentionally foul DeAndre Jordan twice?
I don't know why they did that. I mean, he only had 2 fouls in the game, so it wasn't the biggest.
Yeah, but he could have easily gotten a couple more. Like, it just seemed like you have all these scrubs on the bench. Put them in an intentional foul. Why put Porzingis into an intentional foul?
I don't know. I don't know why. It's like the Knicks. It's like they never had a shot in this game. They started playing. Clippers were up, and you just knew that they were never going to win this game. And by the second half, it wasn't even close. Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what? Like, the thing is, Clippers are good. You can't stop Blake Griffin. He had an awesome game against the Knicks.
Wait, can we talk about that for a second? How weird is it that every time Blake or Chris Paul is injured, the Clippers are better? Not when they're both injured, but there's stretches every season those two have been together where one of them is injured and then the team is better. Like,
it is really weird, yeah.
The Clippers don't have the strongest of schedules, but like they went undefeated and they lost like one game in the past like 14 games or something.
Is your roommate still alive? Are we going to hear sirens? Is the Clippers team going to be any kind of a failure in the sense they'll never go to the finals?
They'll be looked at the same way we looked at the mid-2000s Rockets, I think. The T-Mac Yao Ming Rockets. They're going to be like that team. It's just like the potential was there, and they couldn't overcome the Spurs, the Warriors, and the Mavericks of this time.
What are they missing? Just like a better bench?
I thought coming into this season they assembled the perfect bench, and I would say I was wrong, but like
you heard Cole Alderson Priggs was on the team, and you were like, can't stop him.
No, but like think about it. Coming into the season with coming off the bench, Josh Smith, Paul Pierce, Jamal Crawford, still like
They say they traded Josh Smith back to Houston,
and they just traded Josh Smith coming back to Houston, and I don't know what they're missing. I don't know if it's. I've never loved Doc Rivers as a coach, and I hate him as a GM. I think he's one of the worst GMs in the league.
He's got a title.
Why? Just because he traded draft picks to get his own son, who wasn't even good?
That's a part of it, certainly.
Well, he wasn't on the. But was he on Boston when they just raped the Nets? That wasn't his doing though, right? That was the
No, he was just a coach. He wasn't even.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the coach. He was still coaching the team. He was actually right before he got traded to the Clippers. Like that was all one summer. The pillaging of the Celtics. That was all one summer. Everyone got traded, and he's not a good GM. Like it's, I think we can safely say like he's only traded for players that he's played against in the playoffs. Like that's not even a joke. Like that's an actual fact. Like the only players he's actually traded for are like former Hawks, former Orlando Magic players, and it's like, what are you doing? Like washed up Glenn Davis, and he had Sasha on his team 2 years ago. He had Jordan Farmar on his team. Like he doesn't know what he's doing as a GM, and he's an okay coach, but he's
it's
not.
pretty hard to do GM
special.
and coach. It's pretty hard to do both those things. I feel like it's a bit
extremely difficult. I thought it was laughable every time they would mention Doc Rivers in the same sentence or Rick Carlisle, and I'm like, you kidding me? Rick Carlisle does so much with whatever he's given, and Doc Rivers can't figure out this.
Yeah, seriously, that is a deep bench.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the Charlotte game. The disaster in Charlotte.
Did it hurt extra hard that Jeremy Lin got a Knick effect?
Jeremy Lin has played the Knicks 3 times this season. He's torched them at least twice.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, Jeremy Lin is the perfect backup point guard.
He wanted to come to the Knicks. The Knicks said, no, we're good at guard.
We got the machine.
He would be such a great fit on the bench on this team.
I can't believe he signed for the minimum in Charlotte. And I was like, what? He's doing this. I don't know what the hell the NBA is doing.
He'd be getting 35 minutes a game on the Knicks.
Replace Sasha with Jeremy Lin, we at least have 3 or 4 more victories, easily.
Yeah, if you were starting the season with a Flalo out and your backcourt was Calderon and Jeremy Lin instead of Sasha, you'd have a lot more wins right now.
Yeah.
You'd have at least 3 or 4 more wins.
Just coming off the bench, like he's like, the Knicks need guys that can get to the basket. Jeremy Lin can seriously get to the basket, as we've seen when he plays the Knicks, because the Knicks can't do anything to guard him. It's unbelievable. I mean, and I know he shoots a poor percentage, so you're like, oh well, they did hold him to a bad shooting night, but you also sent him to the line a bunch of times, so that didn't really help. Like if you look at it, like Walker and Lin shot about 30% for the game, so it was like a 33%. So it wasn't like they like destroyed the Knicks at that part, but then they keep going to the line, they keep getting assists, they keep disrupting everything. It was pretty bad.
Do you guys want a Royal Rumble update?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, Kalisto won the WWE United States title from Alberto Del Rio, and now we're about to start the Divas Championship match between Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair's daughter, and Becky Lynch, aka the Last Kicker. And they're heated. This is going to be great, guys.
Jay, can we rewind a little bit so when Will asked if I wanted an update, I want to say no now. But early in this game, Lopez was going against Hawes. He was dominating him. The Knicks stopped doing it.
Are you worried that Carmelo left early because of his sore knee? Because this team can't do anything without Carmelo.
I'm worried that Lou Amundsen came in the second quarter. Yeah, I'm worried about Melo, obviously.
That's a bad sign.
I mean, this team is completely helpless. I thought they would at least be able to play decently against crappy teams without Melo. They can't do a thing without him.
Is Lance Thomas the glue that holds this team together? They've been unable to play the last 2 games without Lance Thomas.
That is true, too.
Well, he is, I mean, in all senses of the word, he is the glue guy. He is the guy that does a little bit of everything for them. He defends the best. Yeah, he defends the best perimeter player when he's in the game. He creates so much room for Carmelo and Kristaps and Aaron Aflalo and Calderon. Like that's their best lineup is Calderon, Aflalo, Thomas, Melo, and Kristaps.
Yeah, I
don't even care what the numbers say. Just looking at it in basketball terms over the last month, when all those guys were healthy and that lineup was playing together, it was their best lineup.
I'm clearly worried about Melo. Melo also, I mean, he hasn't had I know we've been happy about the assists. You know what Melo hasn't had lately? And by lately, I mean the entire season. He hasn't had one good scoring game. He's had some efficient games, but you haven't seen Melo just go off for 40 one night. It's like he doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah. Bruno just said a good point in the chat room. Fisher's turning back to his old habits, playing everybody available. It's almost like he panicked when Thomas went down and said, all right, I'm going back to my 11-man rotation.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to say is that the tightening of rotation kind of went out the window. Serafin's back. The lineups no longer make any sense. I want to go back to firing Fisher. For a little while, I was happy with him. Now I'm done with him again. Can we make Fisher coach Cleveland?
That would be nice. I mean, if they don't want Blatt, we'll just do a trade.
Yeah, we'll trade up. We'll take Blatt, and LeBron will have to deal with, wait a second, you're putting JR in over me now? What the hell's going on here?
Okay, let's go to questions.
Yeah, let's go to questions. Was there anything else we wanted to mention? Oh, we got very important. We've waited this long into the show to mention we have a meetup this Friday.
Yes, the 29th at Stout on 33rd Street in Manhattan.
33rd around 7th Avenue? Between 6th and 7th?
Yeah.
We're going to be there. We're going to be watching the Knicks pummel the Suns. It will be a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of beers drinking, and we will have a good time. If you are not there, you will have missed the time of your life.
So message the Facebook group if you have any questions. If you can't find us, that's probably the easiest way to get answers quickly.
Oh, there also was an email from someone. I can't even find the actual email. But they were saying how I think their son was getting married, and he wanted us to.
Oh, I have that email if you want me to pull it.
What did you say? Can you read the email?
Yeah. So that is, that's right here. My son and his new wife in the UK are attending the Knicks tonight. Mr. Steven Straker and Mrs. Amy Straker. It would be a special surprise if you could seek them out or mention their names tonight. Mention Steven's mom and dad, send their best wishes. So I think they wanted somebody at MSG to show them on cam and say their names.
So if you want anything, if you want to meet Melo, date Dolan's daughter, own part of MSG, whatever you want done, email us. I'm sure we'll get it done for you. Just expect it's already done.
Right.
I interviewed JB Smoove a couple months ago. I can get that person an autograph from JB Smoove.
Sweet. What would you interview him for?
I don't even remember what the fuck I was. What was I working for? I was working for the Gothamists. That's what I was working for.
Cool. How was he? The interview?
I don't know. I just took the pictures.
Okay, that was a lot of information.
Who cares about JV Smoove? Have you seen that show? I know I brought him up.
I've seen the commercials. The commercials look funny. I have not actually seen the show, but I've seen him before. He's kind of funny.
He was funny on
when Chris Rock is on, and that's it.
He was funny on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, he was funny on Curb.
Okay.
Okay. There's also a question. I'm going to read one question. This is an actual question. Gary, Liverpool, UK, great show. Only get to a couple of games a year, but watch online every day. The show keeps me close. With the cap space and guard needs, who are the realistic free agents that the Knicks will target this year?
I feel like this is going to be our question for the next 7 months. Realistic.
So, Will, let's get your viewpoint. Who should the Knicks target this offseason? And there should be a G or SG next to his name. Or PG again next to his name. It should not say F or SF or PF or C.
I think I'm catching your drift here. Yeah.
We need guards badly.
I'd sign Bargs. I think you'd be good there.
Okay, that's helpful. But on a more serious note, who do you think the Knicks should go after?
I mean, I already made my point about Mike Conley, but
yeah. So who instead of Mike Conley?
It's a really good question. I honestly,
Shved.
To me, yeah, bring back Shved. I honestly think you have to go into next season, not trying to hold your cap. I don't think this is the summer where the Knicks go out. I think you target Russell Westbrook in 2017. So I think you have to keep the decks clear for him. And I feel like
Wait, who we keeping the decks clear for?
Russell Westbrook.
Oh, are you getting is Super Mario getting the stars?
No, it's Mike Conley texting me, and he's like, "How dare you bash me, you son of..." Oh, I can't read all this.
JB
Mike.
Smooth being like, "I'm not important to you. I'm not retract that interview."
Okay,
Mike
let's
Conley
go
has a
to,
potty mouth.
before we have a 3-hour show. Let's go to Twitter
Go on.
at NY Knicks Podcast. Frankie sent us a trade proposal. It's a 3-way trade with Houston and Cleveland. The Knicks get Dwight Howard, Cleveland gets Carmelo Anthony, and Houston gets Kevin Love. Don't ever send us trades like this again. That's all we need to say about that, right?
Would you so if it was Melo for Kevin Love, would you be any more inclined?
No.
Yeah. Will, do you agree? Would Dwight Howard or Kevin Love would be helpful to get on this team?
No, moving on.
Okay.
Oh, Bruno said Jordan Clarkson. I like that idea. No?
What do you say?
I
Clarkson.
don't love Jordan Clarkson.
He's okay. Wouldn't be. He's young.
Okay, Strive writes, is it time to bench Aflalo? Should Fisher give more playing time to Grant?
What?
Well, because he had 2 bad games?
Flau looked
Yeah.
pretty bad. I would bench him.
This
Well,
is
I
what
know
I'm
what
talking about with all your fans. Everyone's so living in the moment. Same thing with everyone voting for Derek Williams. He's the best bench player off the bench because Lions was having a bad couple weeks. And all of a sudden, Jerry Grant puts up a couple of nice games and horrible efforts by the entire team. And all of a sudden, we want to bench Aaron Aflalo. Like, are you kidding me? Aaron Aflalo is like their third best player.
He's not their third best player.
He is their third best player. Who's their third best player if it's not Aaron Aflalo? And if
Okay,
you
what
say
do you-
Robin Lopez, I'm punching you in the face.
Robin Lopez is definitely better than Flalo.
Okay.
Punch me on the face over Skype.
I'm gonna steal your baby bottle.
Okay, fine.
Sasha looked good. This is from Strive again. Sasha looked good last game. Should he be considered the third point guard? I think Strive is trolling us.
Yeah, that's an absurd. That's almost like you just screamed profanities at us. As far as the Flalo, what I would do, and the Knicks were doing for a little while, were they start the game with the regular starting lineup, which is I still don't like, but because every game their starting lineup makes them like down by 10 right away. So do something kind of different lineup. But what they had been doing was they'd pull Porzingis and a follow early, and then bring those guys back with the bench. Why not do that again? Why did Fisher suddenly stop doing that? He's like, oh hey, we're winning games with this system. Let me stop doing it.
Because it worked.
I don't know if it's a brilliant system, but it wasn't bad. I feel like Aflalo is more useful when you have other guys out there where Aflalo needs to carry more of the offense, not when he's out there with Melo and everyone else where he doesn't have to carry the offense as much.
Sure.
We have a review on iTunes, by the way.
Oh, yeah? Is it a positive one this time?
Let me read it. It's from Knicks fan since Melo, 5 stars. The title is "If you're a Knicks fan, if you're a Knicks, this is the only choice." I filled in the fan because I assumed he would say that. But an amazing thing about the show is with over 300 plus episodes, the host Jay has talked about 10% of the time. Co-host Marc is probably still talking while reading this. That was great.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. More questions?
Yeah, Strive writes, the Knicks need an injection of new life while adding a new player disrupt the chemistry. I think it depends on the player.
Well, we're losing, so what chemistry are you disrupting?
Well, I mean, it's not like everyone's bickering or you don't hear about all this drama behind the scenes.
Right. I mean, the thing is, until your team gets better, until your team's like really challenged, making a real run, you want to keep injecting new life. You want to try to do something to shake things up.
Dominic writes, do you think Porzingis will end up being a top 5 Knick ever? Is he more loved than Melo has ever been?
Yes. I think if he stays healthy, Porzingis will be a top 5 of all time and will be top 3 most loved Knicks of all time. You think so?
Yeah, I would think that there's...
Nope.
No?
No, why not, Will? Be the contrarian.
Because it's 40 games in. Let's not get crazy.
We're trying to get crazy, Will.
I know you are, but can we calm down? You never know what's gonna happen. still just 7'3" dude who looks pretty awkward sometimes when he runs, and he's great. I'm not diminishing his greatness, but like he's really damn good. These are the two best rookies legitimately since like I can't even remember when we've had two rookies this good in their rookie season. He's really damn good. But
Yeah, so we have high hopes for the future.
40 games in, everyone needs to calm down and just appreciate the ride. Stop looking 20 years into the future when he has like an MVP trophy and no NBA titles because you're cursed.
Gucci writes, thoughts about Melo passing Bird and Peyton on all-time scoring list.
Jay, did you cut off a finger?
Yeah, that was a sad day.
Well, why is it a sad day? Would you rather Bird have more points or Melo, a Knick, have more points? For those that don't remember or realize, Jay loves Larry Bird more than he loves his girlfriend. Legitimately, he would make sweet, sweet love to Larry Bird if he came over right now. I don't know why he has such a love for Larry Bird, but do you feel in any way, Jay, that shouldn't you be happy a Knick passes Larry Bird?
Yeah. I mean, most of those points were in Denver, though. Like, I'd be happy if Porzingis passed Larry Bird.
He's been on the Knicks for, 4 years now? Melo?
He's party pooper now. I think this is sixth season.
Yeah.
Sixth season here?
No, I'm sorry. That's 2010. Fifth season.
Fifth season, yeah. So he's been in the Knicks for, I know he played a bunch of years in Denver. He's been in the Knicks for a while now.
Yeah. Gucci writes, should we sign Blatt as our D-League coach? How about as our actual coach?
I would definitely give him the
I
D-League
almost bought
job.
that for a second.
And then we could send Fisher down to the D-League until he learns how to coach.
And then we can trade Fisher to the Clippers when they fire Doc.
Yes.
Jay, do you think the Knicks have screwed up by not giving out a 10-day contract?
Yeah. This is a perfect time to. With Lance out, you have a hole in the roster unless you consider Vujicic and Serafin not holes in the roster.
Will, do you think the Knicks should be giving out 10-day contracts? And why are the Nets not doing that either?
Do they have a confirmed empty roster spot?
Yeah, there's 14 guys that could be considered empty.
Yeah, I was listening to the show a couple weeks ago when you guys were debating on whether or not if they should give a 10-day spot to Tony Roten, and I think considering your lack of guard help, I can't think it. You have to take a chance on somebody, and I don't whether it's Tony Roten, Elliott Williams. You need more guard help, obviously. You can't rely on Sasha, and Langston Galloway has been not really good at all the past few weeks, or he's been good sometimes and bad most of the time.
Galloway's been okay. I mean, he's been a solid piece off the bench. When I gave that question of top 3 guys off the bench, I think Galloway was the number 3 choice from everyone. Also, our bench really drops off from there. Why, with a team like the Nets, you have so many guys in this team that are just terrible. Why not just cut someone and give another guy a 10-day contract? Just why not just try to see if we can find gold?
Because all of them have more than 1 year on their deal, I guess. I'm guessing that's the reason.
Yeah. I don't understand why not just try. How much is it going to really disrupt by bringing in a Tony Roten or whoever else? I don't know. Jay?
Yeah, I mean, we've had an empty roster spot since the beginning of the season.
I meant another question, but
Well, Lorenzo sent us the second Porzingis rap song.
okay, hit it.
I'm like Christopher's and yes. Keep calm like Christopher's and yes. Keep calm like Christopher's and yes. Keep calm like Christopher's and yes. Augumā es krietni īsāks, no Latvijas un tikpat bīstams. Un viss, kas virsū, tas ir īstais. Esmu mierīgs tā kā Kristaps. Double.
I find it weird that there's 2 rap songs about Porzingis.
Jay, would you like a rap song about Porzingis if it was by Drake?
No.
But you wouldn't. What's the context of it? Wouldn't you love anything about Porzingis?
No. I, by default, don't like anything that comes out of Drake's mouth.
What if Drake passed Larry Bird in points? Would you be upset?
If what?
If Drake suddenly had an NBA career and passed Larry Bird in points.
Yeah. Strive just sent us a message. Jordan Clarkson is restricted. And he also said a flawless defense is the worst. It's as bad as Calderon.
Didn't Aflalo come into the league? I heard somewhere that Aflalo, when he came into the league, he was known for his defense.
Yeah.
He was a defensive first, offensive second player.
Yeah, he's kind of fallen off since then. I don't think he's nearly as bad as Calderon, but judging by the fact that both Knick effects this week were shooting guards and not point guards, maybe there is something to Aflalo's bad defense.
I will not take this Aflalo bashing.
I mean, I still think I agree with Will that he's probably our third best player.
What are they watching inside?
I think they're playing 2K16.
2K16?
Yeah.
Oh, NBA. Okay.
Angel writes, what do you think of our point guards of the 90s, such as Charlie Ward and Chris Childs, compared to our current point guards, Calderon and Galloway? Were those old guys really much better?
I'm going to say no.
Ward, I think, could play defense, but they weren't very good. I mean, those were always the weak spots in that lineup.
We've been pretty bad at we've been pretty bad with the guards since I've been alive.
Yeah.
Why are the Knicks always? Why can the Knicks never have a good guard?
I don't understand. It's like they're just obsessed with big men and they don't focus on guards at all.
Will, whose guard situation would you rather, ours or yours?
The Knicks. Yeah. Yes, the Knicks.
Your team. What? How far away are you guys from being good?
17 years.
What has to happen? You guys, it's 17 years when you guys finally have a draft pick?
Well, no, it's 14 years, so we have a draft pick, and then it's 3 years after that, I'm assuming, until that draft pick is good, and then he gets injured, so we're good for a season, and then it's another 17 years after that.
Well, you guys just beat the Thunder.
Good on them.
See, if you win two more, then you'll move up to the... well, you don't even have a draft pick anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
Are we still on Twitter questions?
We're done with Twitter.
We're on
Can I read the Facebook questions?
Yeah, we're up to Facebook questions now.
No, we're doing emails.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, so thank you for your Twitter questions. We just passed 1,000 Twitter followers for the first time.
Great.
Yes. So,
Celebratory horns.
nynixpodcast@gmail.com. We got an email from Chris. I hope you guys address this because I find it atrocious that you both think Melo's not a Hall of Famer. Dude just passed Larry Bird yesterday in points at 31 years old. You could say Bird got injured a lot, but Melo missed plenty of games, and you made it clear in your Melo versus Gallo discussion this week. Still, Melo is 27 games ahead of Bird to hit this milestone. And majority of Bird's injuries came later in his career.
Whoa, wait.
We were talking about this thing. I just want to admit we talked about this, and then he passed Larry Bird. I was like, I can't believe we were questioning him for the Hall of Fame.
Wait.
Such idiots.
Did I miss this part of the... Is this a part of an episode where I was, like, doing actual work and I couldn't... Did you guys... Wait, who says that Melo isn't a Hall of Famer?
We talked about it last show.
We both did last episode, and I thought about it all week, and I think I'd like to take that back.
We didn't say he wasn't. He was definitely not a Hall of Famer. We were just questioning it a little bit. We were saying he's not a lock. Do you think?
I think he's absolutely a lock.
If he doesn't play another game in the NBA, is he in?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we kind of misjudged that.
I think you guys are overestimating how easy it is to get on the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like they just put who was it they just put in? Run TMC, one of those guys. They put the entire Run TMC.
Run DMC made the Hall of Fame.
No, Run TMC, Tim Hardaway,
Mitch Richmond.
Mitch Richmond. They just put Mitch Richmond in the Hall of Fame.
Mitch Richmond's pretty good.
I can't even think of Mitch Richmond. Yeah, he was pretty good. He's the third best player on the best team he was on. He was the third best player, and
really,
and we're questioning.
Was he the best player? Where was he? He was on Sacramento.
Golden State.
Well, he was at Golden State.
Yeah, that was what Run TMC was.
No, did Mitch Richmond spend some time? Well, whatever. I'll look this up in a second. Either you know what I think it is, that we as Knicks fans think terrible of our team and are so used to bad things happening that we just like we can't imagine anything positive. Like, oh, this guy's actually been really good.
Yeah, and you're also just thinking about what his effect on the Knicks was. Like, if you take into the fact, like, he's been an All-Star 10 times or 11 times now, and you consider the fact that as a freshman he led his team to because it's not the NBA Hall of Fame, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Just to be
He's a freshman, he led his team to the NCAA title, and he has 2 Olympic gold medals and a FIBA gold medal. Like, I think he's a lock.
First of all, 2 things. First, to play stat guy, Mitch Richmond, I just looked it up, played 8 years in Sacramento, so I'm not crazy. And he was one of the best players in Sacramento the whole time. He was on Golden State for only 3 seasons. Secondly, should the fact that you have Olympic gold medals or won a title in college like matter at all for making the Hall of Fame?
Apparently, yes, because it's the Basketball Hall of Fame.
I find
it's not the NBA Hall of Fame.
It's the NBA Hall of Fame.
It's not the NBA Hall of Fame.
It's the
Christian
NBA
Laettner's in the Hall of Fame. Christian Laettner didn't do crap in his NBA career.
But it really is the NBA Hall of Fame. The NBA owns the Hall of Fame. They do the Hall of Fame. It's not like we're voting on who's the best player in Lithuania.
But like, sometimes you are. Like, Adidas Sabonis is in the Hall of Fame, and he didn't do much. There's for every 10 great NBA players, there's one example of just an overall brought something to the game of basketball. Hall of Fame.
It's the NBA Hall of Fame.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay. So yeah. Anyway, Hall of Fame Melo, I give. He should be in.
I just find it weird that they consider All-Star game appearances as, consideration for Hall of Fame. But then they let people vote, and you get people who don't even deserve to be All-Stars as All-Stars. So it seems like I don't know. It should be one way or the other.
I've argued, like, over the fact that for the first few years, like, they should kind of reset. Like, I think it would be a precedent. I think a lot of people would have a problem with them resetting the Hall of Fame, because there's a lot of guys who just, like, over time, it's just like, how is this person in the Hall of Fame when you get removed from it years and years later? And then you have to start considering guys like I don't even know how the Hall of Fame is going to look 10 years from now. Is Zach Randolph going to be a Hall of Famer?
Well, I was making the case for Sean Marion last year. I feel like he's like a fringe Hall of Famer.
Sean Marion, Ron Artest. Is Ron Artest a Hall of Famer? Because if Dennis Rodman's a Hall of Famer, how can Ron Artest not be a Hall of Famer?
Right. Yeah, it just seems like it's weird. Criteria.
It's the Hall of Very Good.
Yeah. Kazim writes, "Hey guys, how are you enjoying this literal roller coaster of a season? This whole flirting with 500 season we're having is really just the worst. Like, can we get into the playoffs and stay there? Also, I have been looking, and we are 2 games behind the 5th place Pacers. Is it wrong for me to believe that we can make it to the 5th place in the East, or am I being unrealistic? I want to have hopes for this team this season, but I really do. But then I remember hope is a dangerous thing." This is a really long email. I would like to make a bold prediction, which you guys might hate, but I think Rose will find his way to New York. This beatdown by the Clippers was unbearable and unacceptable. We need an upgrade at point guard like yesterday. I would say trade for Rose, but I don't know what the Bulls would accept outside of Rose being the realistic choice. I don't see a realistic option when it comes to point guard free agents after the season. You know what hurts the most? We face Kemba next, then Westbrook, followed by Lowry, and then we end up the week with Curry. He's available to be Stat Guy. Email us again about Stat Guy, because I'll forget because I'm an idiot. Team Marc is the best team in the league. Sorry, Jay, nothing personal, but you're more like Gerald to Mark's Arnold. That was a reference to Hey Arnold, just in case it's over your guys' heads.
Jay, could you read that part with more enthusiasm? Is there more?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so what do you think about the guys getting Derrick Rose?
I hate that idea. I really, really, really hate that idea.
Yeah. Will, what do you think?
I think Will might be gone.
Okay. I think he had to go.
No, I'm sorry. I'm right here. I think Derrick Rose is a bad idea.
Would you trade Bargs for Derrick Rose?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Derrick Rose is not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
It's not even like we can't even. There's not a sentence. We can't consider Derrick Rose a good player right now. It's just how it is. He's a 17 million albatross on the Bulls cap.
It is really amazing. As someone pointed out last show, one of the questions, that he is probably going to be the only MVP in the history of the NBA that's not going to make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And probably the only MVP that's not going to make an All-Star game again for the rest of his career, or whatever. However, like, it's just like it's just a dramatic drop off.
Jimmy writes, "Do you all really think Melo's not a Hall of Famer? 9 All."
Every question's going to be, are you insane?
I know. We really messed up on this one.
We screwed up. Okay.
He listed all his credentials. We get it. We take it back. He also writes, "Who is each of y'all's favorite player off the bench and why?" Yeah, Will says Lance Thomas.
I would say Lance Thomas. I think I like Lance Thomas better, but I really enjoy watching stupid hair.
Yeah.
There's no discussion that aesthetically Derek Williams is more fun to watch, especially when he like really really wants to play basketball.
I feel like they could use him even better. I know sometimes he gets torched on defense, which kills me, but his offense, he's an exciting player. And the Knicks could I really wish they would run a more, like whatever you have to say about the triangle, I wish the Knicks would just run a more open offense. Like they would look, a guy like Derrick Rose would look so much better in the pick and roll.
Yeah. I don't know.
Porzingis, I feel like would look so much better also. I feel like one of the problems with Porzingis is they make him create his own shot half the time, or just make him do spot up shooting. It'd be great if I don't know. It'd be great if you can get him like a little more involved, like when get him the ball while he's cutting more often.
Can I take a moment to criticize Porzingis' game for a moment?
Sure.
Sure, Jay. Do you want to advertise your address so we can all come over and kill you?
No,
Yeah.
I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
I'm in the Bronzeville area.
Okay.
So just find me and kill me. Sure. He needs to stop taking threes that aren't at the top of the key.
Why does he need to ever take corner threes?
Because he's never in that position to take corner threes because he's always running the high or low post or he's screening at the top of the key.
Why don't they ever have him on the corner? I feel like he'd be a solid corner three guy.
Okay.
I don't know.
Right now,
Also, that Derek Williams should never, ever in the rest of his life ever even practice a three-point shot. Every time he takes one, I get just angry. You know it's never going close to the basket.
Okay. My favorite bench player is Amundsen.
I knew you were going to say him also. Why? What's with your love affair with him?
I don't know. I just always liked. It started with that Phoenix team. I liked him a lot on that team, and it just carried over.
I didn't even remember he was on that team. When
He
I
was on
watched
the
him,
A team, B team thing. I like so much.
oh god, when I watch him play, all I remember is, oh, I understand why we don't use this guy.
Although I do want him off the team now that he cut off his hair.
I mean, I guess he's good enough that you don't really need him and Seraphin on the team.
Right.
We just don't need. Yeah.
Okay. Last email from Jimmy. I think these Knicks fans give too much credit to Porzingis and too little to Melo. I understand he's our future, but Melo's our present. I feel like Melo puts up triple-double numbers every night, and even with that and a win, people will turn it around the next morning and give credit to KP with why they're winning no matter how good Melo did. I love KP, don't get me wrong, but give our leader some damn credit.
I think it's a pretty fair point.
Yeah.
But, we do the same. We definitely do that, but it's kind of fun to root for him.
Yeah, I think everyone's just excited that we actually drafted a guy who looks like he's not going to be a bust.
I agree with Jimmy. Anyway, I want to take this opportunity. I have to go, guys. I want to thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
And if I can plug some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you also, for coming on the show, will be getting a commemorative New York Knicks podcast baby bottle that I've been sucking out on in the whole show.
I will cherish that with all my heart.
We'll plug away.
You guys, you can follow me on Twitter at The Lost Advocate. Hopefully your friends are smart enough to spell that. And you guys can actually... That's a lost cause. And you guys can catch me on my brand new radio show debuting in February on Fridays at 8 a.m. www.kpiss.fm is the website you can go to catch my new shows beginning in February on every Friday at 8 a.m. where we'll be doing a lot of weird sketch radio stuff. We'll be doing some improv stuff, and we're just going to do a lot of crazy stuff. We'll talk some sports sometimes. It's a fun show, trust me.
Is it when you say radio, is it like, can I tune in on the dial, or is it online only?
It's online only because I'm not that good.
Fair enough. What kind of comedy skits are you going to do? Is it anything sports related, or is it
well, we did a sketch a few months ago. We were been on hiatus for a while, but we did a sketch a few months ago where I did a Charles Barkley impression, and my co-host was doing a John Travolta impression, and it was my favorite sketch improv scene I've ever done. It was just so great.
You're saying we could have talked to Charles Barkley this whole show?
It was possible. I'm sorry.
Can we hear the impression?
Can you hear the Charles Barkley impression? No, yes. I need like milk, and I need like hot cocoa. I can do the John Travolta impression for you guys if you want.
That'll be interesting on all Knicks fans. Go with the Travolta.
Okay. Hey, what's going on over here? Guys, there's a baby in the corner, and he's crying, and oh my God, it's so lovely to see you today.
Excellent. So,
Awesome.
Will, send us the link to your radio stuff. We'll repost it.
That sounds awesome. I'll tweet it to you guys later in the evening after the show. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
All right.
Yeah.
Enjoy the
Thanks for joining
Royal
us.
Rumble.
And good luck with the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
All right. So that is it for emails.
Okay. Facebook. There are a bunch of... We had asked for questions from Mike Woodson. Woodson is going to be on next week. Instead of holding these questions for next week, Jay's going to answer as if he's Mike Woodson.
Why don't we just hold them for next week?
Oh, I don't know. We'll just ask new questions. Because they're all going to be about questions that are related to this week.
No,
so
I'm reading them. They're actually not.
Let's just answer the questions.
Okay, but it makes no sense.
Whatever. Okay, so Greg writes, what's your stand on the hack-a-player Drummond attempted 36 free throws this week? How would you fix it? Yeah, did you heard about how he attempted 36 free throws and made like half of them?
He set a record for missed free throws. He missed 23 in one game.
First of all, I mean, the best way to fix it is teach guys to shoot free throws. But
I don't think you need to change the rules. Just there's like 3 guys in the league that are bad enough that you do that for. I don't think you change the rule for those 3 guys.
I mean, they changed the rule a little bit, right? Under 2 minutes, if you foul the guy that doesn't have the ball, it's like a technical.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a change.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Why is it? Is a guy like Drummond ever going to try shooting through with his hands like underhanded?
No. They're too.
Don't they always say that's the
embarrassed? They don't want to look stupid, so that he'd rather set the all-time record for lowest free throw percentage of all time rather than look dumb taking a free throw.
I've really done that shot that much, but people say that's the better way to actually shoot.
Yeah, I heard it's a lot easier to get in that way. Or at least try, like, I get that taller players, like, it's harder to shoot because they're closer, it's more of a horizontal shot, but Dirk got around that by having a high arcing shot. So try that.
Yeah.
It seemed to work pretty well for Dirk.
Frank writes, trade proposal. We send Calderon, Galloway, and O'Quinn to Minnesota for Rubio and Dieng. I feel this would solve 2 problems. We have no depth at center, and we would finally get a real starting center. And a real starting point guard, sorry. We could also now give Grant more minutes with Calderon and Galloway out of the way and do O'Quinn a service by putting him on a team that would play him. This would work for Minnesota in that they would make Zach LaVine their starting point guard and Calderon their backup, Also, it frees them up from the $12 million Rubio is making over the next 4 years. I think that's a pretty reasonable contract, actually. He's making $12 million a year, or is he making $12 million?
$12 million a year.
Okay. I think O'Quinn and Galloway would be the key off the bench for them and provide them with some depth going forward. I think it goes without saying that neither team is going to win a championship this year, so why not make this trade for the future in mind? And in reply to that, Frank also writes, Rubio's never been much of a scoring threat, but I think having Melo and Porzingis to pass to might open up his offensive game a bit. What do you think, Jack?
I don't think there's any way Minnesota would want a 35-year-old point guard for one of their young.
I don't think this is a bad. No, I totally. First of all, we both say this makes a lot of sense for the Knicks, right?
Yeah, but I think it makes no sense for Minnesota.
So I disagree. I think this makes some sense for Minnesota. Minnesota's been stuck in terrible for a long time. Zach LaVine should be their starting point guard right now. You're much better off spending your money elsewhere.
LaVine should be their starting point guard over Rubio. Have you seen Rubio play? Have you seen Zach LaVine play?
LaVine looked pretty good against the Knicks.
Yeah, who doesn't?
It's not a really good basis, I guess. I just think spending $12 million on Rubio is not. They've been terrible with Rubio. So try something different, like spend your money elsewhere. And Yang's not doing that much there anyway.
Hey, guys, we're really bad. I think the solution to this is to get worse players.
I just think that then you have LaVine, your starting point guard. You can start developing him. Calderon will be a solid guy to help it off your bench, mentor
for
him.
the next 1 year until he retires.
Well, at least you don't have all that. You don't have to pay him $12 million a year anymore for your point guard.
What good point guard are you getting for $12 million anyway? It's a decent contract.
Yeah.
Anyway, Minnesota says no in a second.
Yeah. I liked his logic there. I like your logic here, Frank. I'll bring this trade to Minnesota. Greg writes, Woody, compare the Knicks season versus the Knicks that you coached that won 54 games. Do you believe in Porzingis? Come on, Woody.
You see, this makes no sense without Woody.
Greg writes, Woody, why did the Clippers trade Josh Smith? Are you even aware of this?
Let's save the Woody questions because these are funny questions. For
We're
Woody.
totally not going to remember these questions, but okay.
We'll remember.
Okay. Make a note that we need to find these questions. Okay. Well, this is most of the questions.
That's fine. The show's been very long.
Andrew writes, how good is Hassan Whiteside with the triple-double with blocks last week? Would you trade him for Sasha Vujovic because the salaries perfectly match up? The SBN trade machine said it would improve our record by 11 wins. Surely Miami would do that. Andrew and Frank, you should be our new GM. Would you, Frank writes, would you rather have David Blatt coaching the Knicks instead of Fisher? Why?
Absolutely, because he's actually a good coach.
But then again, if Fisher would coach Cleveland, would they have gone to the finals and had the best record in the East? Is it how much could you screw up when you have LeBron James and LeBron James doing half the coaching?
I still think they'd be worse.
Probably a fair point. And Blatt actually has experience coaching before.
Yeah.
He has a whole track record. Diggs writes, we're back at 500. Hope we win tonight. We didn't. Benjamin writes, what was the true thought process of all that ridiculous switching? Oh, sorry. Sasha writes, if Mike in the Grant writes, does Woodson Shagets writes, how big is the East? Okay, we'll save these questions for next week when he's on the show.
Sounds good. Was that all the questions?
Yeah, they were all. Since we stopped getting all the a couple people that used to post the show and post 30 ridiculous questions are not seem to be posting lately. They're welcome to keep posting, but I don't know why they're not posting lately. But that usually adds another 30 questions to our list. We don't have that many questions this week, and all the questions this week were kind of directed towards Mike Woodson.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I mean, yeah, that's good. Sorry, guys. Mike Woodson will be on next week, and then we will ask those questions.
Don't forget, Knicks podcast meetup on Friday.
You could email us, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com, at nyknickspodcast on Twitter.
What did we learn today? Write us an iTunes review. Buy a T-shirt if Jay still has them.
Yes. Still have T-shirts. You can get them at the NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com. You could also go there for our Knicks roster power rankings. And if anybody wants to write an article on there, they can email us at nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. And what did we learn today? We learned that Melo is a Hall of Famer.
We should each week say something that sounds completely ridiculous to all the fans out there. Like this episode, we should have started just saying, you know what? I don't think Porzingis is over 6'6". Or like, or that we're pronouncing it wrong all this time. It's Knicks.
Predictions for the next 5 games real quick?
Yeah, why not? What are the next 5 games?
Oklahoma City at home.
Loss.
Toronto away.
Loss.
Phoenix at home.
Win.
Golden State at home.
Win.
And Boston at home.
Win. I always want to be above 500 in my predictions. So 3-2.
There we go.
Are you gonna same predictions? You're gonna.
No, I'm gonna say lose to Golden State, but beat Toronto because I cannot deal with all the trolling we're gonna get by Steven if they lose.
Okay, so you're gonna say 4-1.
No, the other one was lost too.
Boston?
No.
Which one? I can't figure it out. Let's see. They
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, you said Oklahoma City.
Is a loss.
Yeah, what else? There's no other. I mean, everything else is a win.
And Golden State.
Oh, come on. The Knicks can beat Golden State. I mean, come on. Are you really saying the Knicks can't beat Golden State?
That's my
upset. Like, what does Golden State do that the Knicks can't stop?
It's my
First of all, the Knicks.
Of the week.
I mean, the Golden State, I guess if they get lucky from three-point land, if the Golden State can beat, if they can beat uncontested, if they can hit uncontested 3-point shots, we might be in trouble. Outside of that, we're good.
Oh, we didn't even mention Tyson Chandler had 27 rebounds last game.
Holy crap!
And 20 the game before.
Where are they now? Tearing shit up in Dallas. I mean Phoenix. We're playing him on Friday.
Yeah, he got hot just in time. I also wanted to thank you for your strategy of not starting Jimmy Butler in fantasy to, I guess, keep the turnovers down. So that was really good.
Who won?
I won. That was my 4th week in a row winning, but I got stomped this week, so I will not be winning a 5th week in a row.
But we forgot to mention the Charlotte game. This Charlotte, a third of their roster didn't play. A third of the roster wasn't like active for the game, and like the good part of the roster wasn't active for the game when we lost.
Right.
They were missing. It was unbelievable how lucky we should have been for that game. You're like, oh, you're missing most of your team.
Who else were they missing? I know Al Jefferson.
I don't have it up. I don't. Well, they were missing 5 guys.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of guys.
Gilchrist.
Mm-hmm.
I forget who else they were missing. But they were missing 5 guys. They only had 10 guys. They only had 10 guys active for the game.
That's great.
I mean, and when you say 10 guys active, like Derek Fisher's normal rotation.
I like how they're like, oh, but the Knicks didn't get into Charlotte till 3 a.m. I'm like, oh yeah, so they only had like 16 hours to sleep.
That's the only thing they you never mention that when the Knicks win a game. The Knicks got in pretty late last night, and that's why they stomped the other. I love that you have to go in like every other NBA team doesn't do the exact same thing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we'll be back next week with Mike Woodson, maybe.
Yes. All right. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired.
A Napa guy knows more isn't always better, unless we're talking about full-size vans. These beasts do more than get you from A to B. They have so much space a man can live in it. With shag carpeting, waterbed, and a sweet lava lamp, these mobile abodes have all the comforts of home. With quality parts and plenty of Napa know-how, you can keep the original tiny house running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
There is more to me, Queen Eliara of Elfgard, than my elven magic. Just as there's more to Geico than saving you money, Geico also gives you 24/7 access to licensed agents online, on the phone, or on the Geico app. And while I am a mighty elf queen, I am also a mighty big fan of barbecue potato chips. Minions! More smoky mesquite.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.